The Kuretake ZIG Brushables pen is truly a unique pen in that it has two different colors in one pen. There is the 100% color, and then there's 50% of that color. They are double-ended, double the pleasure, double the fun, double the creativity, all in one. They come in 24 pens, but you're really getting 48 colors because they're each unique. Now, as we notice that the 100% is always the side down by the grooved end of the barrel of the pen. This one is unique in that it has two brush ends, so it truly is a remarkable pen. They are acid-free, archival quality, waterproof pigment-based ink that you can use. So there's so many fun things that you can create with them. We are going to work on creating with them and a fun pumpkin that can be used for any of your events that way. So here we're going to do a place card, and we've given you the step outs here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm using the 50% of the barrel, and I'm going to draw this. So these markers are incredible for coloring because of the pointed end. They have a fiber tip, and it will always retain its shape and is just an incredible marker. So then we're going to push out and do that on both sides. Then I'm going to take and use the 50% of, this is the pure green, so 100% is down by the grooved end of the barrel, the 50% is at the other end. So we're going to come along and just layer marker down and just kind of do a flick. So it creates that wonderful stem of the pumpkin. Then we're going to just simply take and just draw lightly with it because it's a great fiber tip. You can get lots of different shapes and line lengths out of it that come along. We can use the other end of the marker just to give some shadow doodles and lettering along the sides there. Now, we initially used the 50% side of the orange, so now we're going to come back with the 100% of the orange, and we're going to actually layer on top of it. So it's going to give us some dimension to our pumpkin here. So we're just coming and doing it on the outside edge of those. Now, because it is a brush end, it's really fun to do some fun lettering with it. So we're going to, when you're doing brush lettering, I find that you need to hold the marker horizontally so that when you come down and you can get more of the edge of the brush end on it, and when you're coming up, you're going to lift up. Down is put some pressure on it. So we're going to come down, then come up and over, down. So you can see how we can have fun with just the pressure of it. So as we do our lettering, we have some fun with it. Now, just as we did in our pumpkin, we're going to come back and we're going to shadow to the left of each of these lines. It almost makes it start to look like it's three-dimensional as you add that darker color onto the outside edge as a shadow line. And because I love to doodle, I will take the ZIG Millennium. This happens to be an 05, so it tells you on the end of the cap which color it is and the size, and then down around the outside edge. So when you have your marker and your cap separated, you're going to know which end of the, which two cap and marker line up to each other. So I'm going to come around and just add some little shadow lines, almost like detail lines. This is a fun way to just add some more dimension to it. And then also to when I'm doing my marks around images, I like to do them pretty freehand so that it will show up that way. And here we're going to just add some little doodle marks and borders around the outside edge of the marker paper, of the marker edge. So we're just going to add some borders around the outside edge of our name. And so then we have a cute little place card that can be put out Thanksgiving or any fall or opportunity for a holiday that you have there. You'll see here we have some of the variety of purple of them being 100% and 50% of them. We're going to do a really fun technique that I love to do with brush markers, is we're going to learn to sponge. And so here will be our finished project. And we're going to come along, and for this one, we're going to actually do part of our border with a Kuretake ZIG calligraphy marker. This one has a 2.0 and a 5.0. So again, if you want to stack your caps with this one, you need to put them end to end so that they will do that way. So the fun part about a calligraphy marker is if you just pull it across, it makes perfect squares. And so you can make cute corner designs. How simple is that? Just adding some fun detail work on the edge of it. We're going to use our black, so the 100% is the black and 50% is a gray. So we're going to come along and we're going to just push down and get a thick line with this so that we can get a nice thick line with it. And I'm putting consistent pressure on it so that it will give us an even line. Then I'm going to come back with maybe a little bit thinner pressure, lighter pressure, and add a letter ending onto the of it. Okay, so this is where becomes fun. So I've punched out a circle with just using a circle punch, and I'm going to place it down. You can see I'm just going to pull it over a little bit. Then I'm going to take a simple makeup sponge, and we're going to take and use the 50% of the brown. So what happens is I'm right-handed, so I take this in my right hand and I just simply draw onto the makeup sponge. Then, I'm going to make sure it's in the right place, I'm just going to start hitting and realizing that the first hit that you make will always be the darkest, so maybe do that one a little bit lighter. And just come around and add that little bit of a sponge. You can reload it if you have a bigger area that you want to do, you can reload it. In this case, I'm going to come back with my Millennium, and I'm going to, before I move it, I'm going to outline it. This will give it that finished look of having it be that way out there. So there we have our, kind of looks like an A, doesn't it? So now we're going to come up and divide in the middle and then put, again, an odd number will always look best in flower arranging and such like that. So we're going to add this little turkey's feet, and then we're going to use a writer bullet tips to give us our little eyes, and they're just kind of offset that way. Then he needs his gobbler, so we're going to use the 100% of the red, and again just come down and push it and pull, push and pull, and There we have his little gobbler. Now to add his different colors of feathers, we can just start using any of the fun colors that we would like. Here, we'll use the 50% of the red. And again, all you're doing is you're pushing it down, pulling it up, pushing it down, pulling up, push it down. Then I like to do one on the very end. So how quick and easy is that to make cute feathers? Let's get some purple. We'll use the 50%, which is the non-grooved end of the barrel. And so again, all you're doing is pushing and pulling, and it won't hurt the tip of the marker. It is an incredibly sturdy marker that way. Let's find some green here. And all we're doing is pushing it down, picking it up, pushing it down, pick it up, and just simply doing that. And so with the Brushables, you have a whole family of colors that are available to you because of the 48 different colors that they come in. But how quick and consistent you can be just having the pressure be the same for making our little turkey. As we're doing this, it's a good reminder that stickers or shapes are a great substitute for our letters, because if I start writing the rest of this letter, this word of thankful, again, I'm using the brush end. I am keeping the consistency of the brush so that I'm getting a very consistent line. And then we'll come back and just use the little bit less pressure to give us a cute little straight line serif. And you know, you can, because they're such a great marker for coloring, you can always fill in where you need to fill in. And then we'll just come along and just add a finishing touches to the outside edge of this thankful card. So we've used the double-ended brushable marker to be able to create and sponge with it. So I just keep a different color sponge, or a sponge for each of the colors that I use, and it makes it really fun and easy to be able to get that sponged, fun look to it that way. So there we have our thankful card. Then we have here, this is a fun technique to be able to create background designs also with this marker. So this is a set of Millennium. So I've taken out the insert and I've cut my paper to be the same size of that, so that this is going to be able to personalize this set for whomever you would like to work with it on. So we are using the fine end of this, and so all you're going to do is just again give that nice fine tip to it, coming along. Then we're going to just start. I like to go ahead and add the one on the end that I'm going to do. So it's just a doodle teardrop on the end of each of these, and then I know that I'm just going to fill these in. Almost makes it look like wheat or laurel or any of your ferns and such like that. So we can do that. And then here we'll just finish this one because I've done that. So I like to add that little teardrop to the end first so that we can then continue on. Then we're going to use a different color to be able to do the lettering on it. And so let's see, let's use a brown, which is right here. So again, with your brush lettering, which you can do here, on your upstrokes, we're going to come up. When you come down, you're going to push. Then as you get down to the bottom, you're going to lighten up that touch again. So holding your marker horizontally, come up and down so that you can create that fun brush lettering. So then we can do some doodles around the outside edge and add some borders. With our millennium, and then we've got our finished product that we can insert into the packaging so that we have a fun personalized. You can write a note on the other side so that every time they open it they see what it is. So it's fun to be able to do that way. Another fun thing to do with the letters and with the Brushables is to create letters for bookmarks. And in this case, we're going to take and we're going to use our blue, and we're going to write the name using a brush lettering style with the 50% first. So we're going to come along and again push up. When you push down, it's going to be hard. When we come up, it's going to be light, and you can just continue. So as you practice and just get the feel of doing those fun lettering styles, it will be wonderful that way. So we're coming up and down, and then we'll use the 100% to be able to actually start in the top, and we're going to almost do it like a flicking motion so that it's going to add some dimension to these each of the letters. Then we can use our millennium to add some of your doodles and shadow lines. And then we're going to take and add a butterfly, because who doesn't like some beautiful glitter? But in the case of having this butterfly, right now it's just sitting there on your paper. So you would always want to add what I like to call flight lines. Flight lines just show some movement. Now all of a sudden your bookmark is going to be much more interactive of where that butterfly was. And again, we can add some really squiggly little lines as far as a border. So your Brushables will be able to give you 100% is the grooved end of the barrel, 50% is the other end of the barrel. They are pigment ink, acid-free, archival quality, light fast, waterproof, and fade-proof. And so you'll enjoy being able to use all 48 colors of the 24 markers that there are in the ZIG Kuretake brushable marker.